Super Typhoon Ragasa tears through Guangdong, leaving a trail of devastation. Hundong, China, September 25, 2025. Super Typhoon Ragasa roared into China with unrelenting fury, annihilating thousands of businesses and plunging millions into unemployment as industries ground to a halt. On September 24, 2025, Guangdong's vibrant cities were battered beyond recognition, with countless enterprises forced to shutter, casting millions into economic despair. Chinese state television broadcast chilling scenes that seared the storm's raw power into viewers' minds. As dawn broke on September 25th, faint sunlight pierced the grim gray skies, revealing a landscape of utter ruin. Yangjiang, once a pulsing industrial beacon aglow with neon, now lay shrouded in darkness, haunted by the eerie wail of winds, crashing trees, and collapsing homes. Residents emerged after a sleepless night to confront a surreal nightmare. A thriving economic powerhouse crippled in mere hours. Ragasa wasn't just a storm, it was a merciless king of winds, surging from the sea to unleash chaos on China's most populous region. With gusts howling at 212 kilometers per hour as it slammed into Zhuhai, Ragasa ripped through everything in its path. Towering skyscrapers quaked like reeds in a gale, balconies and windows shattered into glittering shards, and concrete facades crumbled under nature's wrath. In Shenzhen, a metropolis of 17 million was cut off from the world. Over 500 flights were grounded. Buses, taxis, subways, and highways stopped dead, transforming the city into a stranded island adrift in floodwaters. Yet the true catastrophe struck deeper than infrastructure. It gutted the economy itself. Thousands of businesses, from small shops to sprawling factories, were obliterated. Factories that never slept now stood as twisted metal skeletons, their roofs torn away, production lines buried in sludge. Giants like Foxconn, Meituan, Alibaba, and JD.com announced closures, leaving industrial zones silent, like desolate graveyards of steel. Commercial streets became scenes of apocalyptic ruin. Bustling shopping districts turned into war zones, with shattered glass strewn everywhere, billboards toppled, and merchandise floating in filthy floodwaters. A viral video captured Zhuhai's streets flattened in hours, luxury cars swallowed by murky torrents, and rescue teams navigating rubber boats through drowned cityscapes to save trapped residents. In some areas, floodwaters climbed to rooftops, leaving only red tiles poking above the relentless deluge. In Jing'an town, the horror escalated. Within 30 minutes, seawater surged waist-high, transforming neighborhoods into a vast, churning lake. Residents had no time to save their possessions, watching helplessly as everything they owned vanished in an instant. Witnesses spoke of a monstrous force, as if a sea beast had risen to devour all in its path, leaving only silence in its wake. Yangjiang bore the storm's full wrath. Skyscrapers swayed on the brink of collapse, windows exploded into deadly shards, and trees fell like dominoes, clogging entire streets. One resident gasped, "I've survived storms before, but nothing like this." It felt like the building would plunge into the sea. Others, shaken, spoke of storm sickness, dizzy from hours of swaying towers. By afternoon, officials reported over 53,000 trees snapped, 6,000 blocking 30 major roads. Streetlights, drainage systems, and underground power stations lay in ruins. Shangchuan Island was cut off from the mainland for 12 agonizing hours, leaving families in anguished uncertainty. Daily life in Guangdong collapsed into chaos. Vegetables became priceless luxuries as drowned fields drove prices through the roof. In the few markets still open, desperate crowds clashed over dwindling supplies of rice and greens, evoking scenes of wartime desperation. Residents braved torrential rain to secure the barest essentials. Energy companies scrambled in crisis mode. The National Nuclear Corporation evacuated 14,000 workers from the Lufeng nuclear plant construction site to avert disaster. The Southern Power Grid mobilized 40,000 workers across 5 provinces, battling relentless rain to restore power lines. Hundreds of drones buzzed over Shenzhen and Guangzhou, capturing the catastrophe and searching for stranded survivors. Dread deepened as state media warned Ragasa was merely the prelude. Two more storms loomed in the South China Sea, poised to strike within days. Panic surged as millions scrambled for safety, transforming hotels, schools, and public buildings into emergency shelters in Guangdong's largest ever storm defense operation. Ragasa outstripped all past disasters. In 2018, Typhoon Mangkhut inflicted 4.2 billion yuan in losses and claimed 4 lives in Guangdong. But Ragasa shattered records, with winds at Shangchuan Weather Station hitting 65 meters per second, the highest ever recorded in the province. Its core winds roared at 55 meters per second, cementing Ragasa as more ferocious than Mangkhut and the most powerful typhoon globally in years. Chinese media branded it a giant beast and sea monster with some outlets, declaring Guangdong hurled back to the Stone Age overnight. Footage of flying cars, submerged parking garages, and trees igniting from electrical sparks stunned the world with nature's brutality. Millions endured nights without water, power, or communication, their cities plunged into eerie darkness, lit only by flickering candles and flashlights. Some had stockpiled food and water, but none anticipated a storm of this magnitude. Swelteringly unbearable apartments, stripped of fans or air conditioning, became stifling traps. In just 48 hours, Ragasa redrew Guangdong's economic and social landscape. Once a global manufacturing titan, the region now resembled a war-ravaged wasteland. Thousands of businesses lay in ruins, millions faced unemployment, dozens of cities stood paralyzed, and infrastructure crumbled. Nature delivered a brutal lesson. No matter how mighty a nation, humanity remains powerless against the fury of storms. The nightmare wasn't over. Forecasts warned Ragasa would hammer southern China with torrential rain and fierce winds until September 27th, with floods, landslides, and mudslides looming. The world watched, hearts heavy, as Guangdong, one of the planet's industrial powerhouses, faced a recovery that could take months, if not years. Super Typhoon Ragasa leaves Guangdong in ruins. Watch the gripping new video here.